That's how he talks. When he wakes up, he's like, "Good morning."
As it's the most ridiculous thing. But it was a pretty good opening show. I mean, they put their culture in there. They had some internationals in there. Yeah, I don't know what else I expected though. It was not the best opening show I've seen, but it was a good one.
They're trying not to upset too many people. They can't sell
Why
alcohol.
not? You might as well upset everybody. They can't sell alcohol at the stadium.
Yes.
Guys should stop saying this. The matches are only 2 hours.
Tega, have you met? Okay, let me just take British people. Have you met
Oh,
British people? Have you even met British
that's
footballing people?
yeah. That's why we did it because of them in
What?
particular. Because two
Do you know
I'm
what
sorry,
2 hours means to
it's
them?
because of them in particular, so that their rowdiness they will keep it far away from us.
2 hours is dog
It, I,
years.
I mean, it's just come on. You can drink at your hotel. You can just
Ay,
at
ay,
the
ay.
stadium should be
Ay, ay,
saying
ay.
they should be calming down. They should calm down. But it was a good opening ceremony. What else happened this weekend, Seth? The drama in F1, but we'll talk about that. Sebastian Vettel saying goodbye.
Vettel, goodbye,
Yeah,
my
it
friend.
was really beautiful. After that goodbye, if he comes back again, we'll beat him.
Mm-mm,
Because that goodbye
pass.
was enough. It made people to walk and run on Saturday. Then made people to wear t-shirts
And
on
give
Sunday.
grand parade and send off.
Then Lewis Hamilton paid 140,000 for dinner for all the drivers. You cannot come back from that retirement. You are retired for good.
No, if you come back, no, you can come back, but people just will not acknowledge you. You'll be like a ghost. Hello, can
No,
you
you
see
come
me?
back and you just give Louis his 140K. Because that's not small money. 140K dollars. Are you kidding
Oh
me?
my god.
What did they even eat at that place?
We can't imagine it again. It's best not to imagine it. All right, people, join this conversation. We're already streaming live up on youtube.com/smooth981 FM. Lagos, leave your comments on the live chat option on the live stream. You can send WhatsApp messages to 0809 440 or take it over to Twitter, #Lockerroom981. All right, so let's get into what we've got coming up for you for the next half hour. The Lakers actually blew out an NBA team and extended their winning streak to 3 games. Sebastian Vettel, the 4-time champion, bows out as an F1 great on and off the track. No end zone for Djokovic as he claims his sixth ATP Finals crown, and it's a record. What's the not record? Record equaling one. Ecuador coast past hapless hosts Qatar in World Cup opener. Ouch. And we want to bring real happiness, says Gareth Southgate, while Senegal young guns ready to step up a World Cup, according to the coach Aliou Cisse, and France will not replace injured Benzema for the World Cup, whilst the United States is not overlooking Wales in their World Cup opener. And there we
Yes.
have it. All
Yes.
right.
The World Cup has started, so you know that everything will be about the World Cup. We'll open
Mm-hmm.
the phone lines at some point during the show to take your opinion on one of the stories, but I'll tell you the story when the time is right.
All right, so the Lakers did something they have rarely done in recent seasons on Sunday by blowing out the Spurs at home in their first of 3 meetings this upcoming week, 123 to 92.
Yes, the Lakers have not been the Lakers in the past 3 games because they've won all of them.
Oh my god!
And here's what was interesting about it. In order for them to win these games, Anthony Davis had to put on some really crazy numbers. So I think yesterday he had about 30 points, but he had another double yesterday. The game before that against Detroit, he scored 38 points and I think had 19 or so rebounds. So another double. The game before that against the Brooklyn Nets,
Again?
another double. So yes, in the past 3 games where the Lakers have won, he scored an amazing 3 points for blowing out the Spurs. I mean, the Spurs were supposed to struggle all through the season. The fact that they started the season very brightly was really, uh, questionable. But in the last 2 games, in their 3 consecutive road games, they've lost to the Clippers. They were blown out against the Lakers, and I expect another blowout. So we wait to see how the Spurs turn out. But for Lakers, it is obvious if the Lakers are going to win, then this, I mean, LeBron has been struggling with some muscular injury, but Anthony Davis has to be the guy to be the star of the show. He has to put on those crazy numbers again Otherwise, they're going to struggle. So I guess now they know what they have to do. So
Oh,
3 wins on the trot. Let's see how long this winning streak lasts.
I don't like the eye that you said it with.
Hey.
So Sebastian Vettel leaves Formula One at the end of one of the sport's most illustrious careers, knowing he's admired as a person off track as much as he is for his achievements on it. He said, I feel a bit empty. It's been a big weekend. The last 2 years have been disappointing, but there are more important things in
Yes,
life.
he struggled in the last 2 years. But hey, what can we say? He was not in the best of cars, and it looked like his career was going down that path from the minute he left Ferrari. In fact, the struggle started in Ferrari, but it really came to a head. Um, it really came to a head here. So for him, um, I know he could have had one more year. They were going to keep his seats. He's the one that said, I don't want to do this. But I think he just, looked at his life and said, let me do other things. I think he has 3 kids or maybe 4. Um, so he has a life, a full life outside this. And then he has his environment fight that he's pushing, try to clean up the environment. And that's one of the things we saw in recent time where he would clean up the stands after the fans have left. So like you finish driving and then you're cleaning up stands, clap for yourself.
I'll do it for you.
Then urging people like me to be drinking more water. I'm like, God, I don't want any more water.
And yet somehow she's drinking more water.
Oh, that's not because of him, that's health. But but he's had such an amazing career, 4-time champion, and he started out as a brat. Let me not lie to you. He was the most aggressive, most annoying. If you think Verstappen is bad now, Sebastian Vettel was pretty bad. And what was worse about Sebastian Vettel is that he spoke a lot. You know, Verstappen doesn't talk as much, except you put the microphone in front of him. Vettel, with or without the microphone, he talked to the radio, talked to the driver, talked to everybody. And look, this is what is happening. So he started out as the annoying guy, and I guess maybe he want just because he was in the winning moment with Red Bull at the moment, and then he became the likable guy of the grid, which is why when they had that launch and Lewis Hamilton paid for all the drivers came out, everybody was having fun, everybody was happy, and then when he said on Saturday people should come out, fans came early for that walk. It was walk/run down the racetrack, and they all wore t-shirts. Everybody wanted to just say goodbye to him. Everywhere on the track, he just became so lovable from the person that was not very likable when he was.
Are you trying to tell us that Verstappen has some sort of redemption arc that we can see coming his way?
No. If Verstappen has a redemption arc later on, I think he'll be buying it. He'll be trying to buy favor. But Vettel always had that good nature in him. He had the drivers he was good with. But when he was struggling for that Red Bull championship, those 4 years of dominance, couldn't talk to him. He was walking on air. Yeah, but he very pretty likable guy. And then he ended the season finishing 10th in the race. So he ended with 1 point at the season, which was better than Lewis Hamilton, who did not finish and ended up losing out on the race. He started very well, but I think he broke his car when he had that wheel to wheel with Sainz and went off the track. I think that's where the car got damaged, and from there he had to retire the car. But all in all, a very great career for Sebastian Vettel, one of the all-time greats in F1. We'll miss him, and we hope to see him in other places. I don't want to see him doing commentary ever. Don't be Nico Rosberg. Except maybe he wants to be an engineer in the garage, but I don't even want to see him.
I want to see where he's gonna get his kicks from. Because I'm sorry, no matter how fast your children run away from you after doing something bad, he's not gonna be at.
Oh, he's not. I don't think he's a speed monger like Lewis, and he's not a speed junkie like Lewis and Alonso. Those ones, the speed is one keeping them. Those are the ones I pity, because when they retire, they'll be looking for how to drive faster. Those ones are the speed junkies. Sebastian Vettel has always been measured off the track. He's always had an anonymous life. He rides bicycles. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. He's one of those. He's one of those people that are really interested in the environment. He rides his bike around. So he's not really a speed junkie like Lewis Hamilton or Alonso. That if Alonso doesn't see F1 car, he'll go and race in something else.
You'll see him in a heist movie.
Oh, you understand? Or with Lewis, if you don't see him, he's skydiving or he's whatever that thing on the waterboarding or whatever they are doing on the water. He's always doing something that brings up adrenaline. Yeah, jet skiing on he has a lot of things.
Waterboarding is torture.
He does. Oh, waterboarding is a torture. Tega.
What have you been watching?
I don't know what I've been watching, but yeah, he's been doing he does a lot of speed things off the. But for Sebastian Vettel, very normal guy. So I think he'll be good.
Ooh, so Ibuka says, good morning, Chopin and Tega in brown. Actually, I prefer to call it tan. He says, Tega has me watching Formula One. Please let Mercedes fix their cars next season. How can the floor on Lewis's car give out? It was catastrophic. Yes, for Qatar.
He's the one that broke his car.
It was catastrophic for Qatar to lose their opening game as they were just running kitty kitty and running kata kata, says Ibuku. Okay, the wordplay. We see it, we see it, we see it. And Tayo says Morgan Freeman has been practicing his divine voice. And Tega is 140k with interest. That money he would pay Lewis back, he has to have interest on it if he comes back. He also says Qatar used their oil money to host the World Cup. I'm just waiting for Nigeria to do the same. Super Eagles, well done. Your mates are competing at World Cup, but we are commenting about it. Whilst Mohammed says, it was actually Ferrari that ended his career. He shouldn't have left Red Bull, but everyone wants to drive for Ferrari. Whilst Tosan says, watching Qatar play against Ecuador showed how poor they are when it came to short and long passes, set pieces, shooting, crossing, tackling, movement of the ball, positioning, and the list goes on. She goes on to say everything about Qatar was so poor. So sad to see Sebastian Vettel retired this way, but for the past 3 years he has been struggling. Anyway, it's good he's retiring.
Why do people think that he had a bad career? He was still going to get a seat. Let me tell you what it is. Failure in F1 is what is happening to Daniel Ricciardo when you cannot get a seat. As long as you can get a seat, even if it's in a Haas, you've had a successful career. Because all the cars on the grid cannot be competitive at the same time. Yeah. So don't make it look like a sad career. It was a good one.
All right, Novak Djokovic says there is no end zone for his career after becoming the oldest ATP Finals champion on Sunday, matching Roger Federer's record 6 wins at the season-ending tournament.
Oh yes, his own ambition is to try and erase Roger Federer from tennis. Unfortunately, he's going to fail woefully. It can never happen. Ever. But yeah, he was dominant all through the ATP finals. Like I said at the start, he was favorite to win it, and this time he won it. Unlike Paris Master, where he was favorite to win it, and Holger Rune came and ruined it. But this time he did the job well, and he didn't make. I think his competition building up to the final was better than the competition in the final. Because the minute I just saw that it was Casper Ruud, I was just like, this is not even a competition. This is another training session. Because Casper Ruud, the one thing Casper Ruud has going for him is his work ethic. He doesn't really have weapons. He doesn't have the biggest serves. He doesn't have the biggest forehands. He doesn't have the best court coverage. It's just his tenacity that he has. So you come up against a guy like Novak Djokovic with just that, and they will beat you every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Just think about it. He hasn't taken a set of Novak Djokovic. So it wasn't the greatest display of tennis in the final of an ATP final. But Novak Djokovic can only beat the people in front of him. He cannot manufacture competition. And Casper Ruud was the guy in front of him. He beat him completely, dominantly, massively. His children even watched him beat him for good measure. And they're playing around while the match was going on. But yes, he's now tied with Roger Federer for 6 titles, and he says, I'm not even thinking of retirement. Unlike Rafa Nadal that is thinking of whether his body can still carry him for one more tournament, Novak Djokovic is sure that come 2023, his body is ready to go. So let's see how that turns out.
All right, we got to take this break. When we get back, we'll be taking your messages up on YouTube, up on WhatsApp, and up on Twitter. And of course, we'll get into the World Cup. 98.1.
I love what I saw with Qatar. You could tell that they put some thought and planning into it. But so the structure was great, but the ceremony itself didn't have as much color. Yeah.
Okay, so this one, Tessa says, Tega, please don't mention Daniel Ricciardo. I never considered him as a Formula One driver.
sorry, you need to leave this place. Have you heard me? You need to leave this place. But yeah, that's when you fail. So
I'm going to tweet this.
do what you want.
There is a miracle with your name on it. Don't miss out.
I really want to sleep.
Words are powerful, but even more powerful is when they are backed by action, which is why at Keystone Bank, we don't just
Moments
say you are
before the
important.
locker room.
We show you how important you are to us.
Choking
By
Tega
providing
in
you
a
with simple
chokehold.
and
What's this
innovative
thing that he
banking
does?
technology
That thing that
it
the boat is going
From
and
our
you're
online banking,
behind the
mobile
boat.
Jet
app,
ski.
to our star
No.
The one where you're on the
Jet ski, no.
Super
No,
Yeah.
jet skiing is the
one that the boat is going and you are on the
Oh.
boat on like that skater thingy. That's what I'm calling it waterboarding.
Oh, what's it
Yeah.
called? Okay, hold on. We'll just say
So
water.
So the boat is going and Lewis Hamilton is on the back of the thing and he's
Water skiing.
and he's
Oh,
left, right, and he's
there's
zigzagging.
wakeboarding. Although I don't know which one wakeboarding is. I know surfboarding, bodyboarding.
So it's not just
boarding.
surfing, my darling. I saw Cruz saying surfing. It's not surfing. This thing.
Oh, wakeboarding.
That's what he does. Yeah.
You got half of it right.
The board part of it. So it's wakeboarding.
You know what you
So
got.
it's wakeboarding, people of God. Waterboarding is like Chokwe said, the tortoise.
You can see what she watches on TV.
But yes, see that action. There was this action movie. I was trying to sleep in time. I was trying to sleep in time, but I just ambulance or something. It's not the greatest movie, but they were killing people, and I like when they are shooting people in the head. It was really sweet.
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
with Jake Gyllenhaal. Yes, that's the one.
I love the movie. There are too many places that movie should have ended. Let me tell you the truth. It was too long. It was almost becoming an Indian film. But because they were shooting people, I was just watching. I was like, shoot him in the head! In the head!
Why is that your go-to statement?
Because I don't like when they are wasting bullets. Just shoot him in the head.
All right, and we are back with more of your messages right here inside the locker room. We'll start off with Tosan's rejoinder regarding Ricardo. Tosan says, Tega, please don't mention Daniel Ricardo. I never considered him as a F1 driver.
I don't like him.
And Chewy Nancy says, the only positive yesterday was the opening ceremony. It was top notch. Kudos to Qatar. For the game, it was my most boring opening World Cup game ever. I expected Ecuador to beat Qatar silly, but they too showed no quality. Whilst Emeka from Amur says, in the history of the World Cup, no host country has lost its opening match. I earlier made a bet on Qatar winning. After seeing their first three passes, I quickly cancelled it. Lastly, as for France, with no Benzema, Deschamps would rather go with a man down than take Anthony Martial. Chai, United fans, is this your king? They've been crying all over my timeline since yesterday. And now let's take it over to that opening game because Ecuador eased past World Cup debutants Qatar 2-0 on Sunday with first half goals from veteran striker Ener Valencia in a one-sided affair.
Yes, the first half was very one-sided. Second half looked a little more, like they had started a little more progressive by the Qatari players. They had settled down. Maybe they were not too overwhelmed by the moment. But yeah, there was no chance on this planet that Qatar was going to beat Ecuador. I know Ecuador has struggled. I know that they were a surprise qualifier from the South American World Cup qualification group. However,
come on, man.
Look, I don't know many teams that have beaten that Qatar team. I don't know many. I don't know how they won the Asian Cup some years ago. But I'm not sure it's with that football that they played yesterday. It was horrible. They're porous. They could have been beaten silly. But Ecuador themselves are not the best competition also. So I guess that's why that match ended 2-0. And then there was something else that was happening during the game. And I'm going to say this so that you guys should, you yourselves and maybe if you know anybody that is spreading that propaganda, it needs to stop because it's just putting, poor light on the World Cup. So the first goal that Ecuador scored was ruled off as offside, and then everybody started shouting, "Oh, they've also bribed the referee too." Look, it was offside. In the rule of football, there have to be two players playing the opposition onside. Now, usually because the goalkeeper is always in goal, it's usually the goalkeeper and one defender. But yesterday, the goalkeeper had come out um, to try and stop the cross. So there was only one defender there, and one player there alone does not play onside. It has to be two players. So that first goal that Ecuador scored was offside. According, even, I mean, you even saw the lines that were drawn and the replay. That one goal was offside. There's no buying any referee. There's no bribery here. Stop helping push this propaganda of this Qatar World Cup is very questionable. Trust me, all the World Cups, at some point, money or favor has changed hands. At some point. So let's not spoil the World Cup with that. That was clearly an offside goal, and that was it. End of discussion. So let's not push that propaganda.
All right, and let's move on now. We'll take this one in where Gareth Southgate hopes England can go on a fantastic journey at the World Cup to bring real happiness to the nation.
And this is where we open the phone line. So England has said they're going to try and bring happiness to their nation. They play today against Iran, which should be an easy 3 points. In fact, if you're going to look for a high score line, today is the day to expect that high score line. So Gareth Southgate is saying they're going to bring joy to the nation. But I want to ask you, how far do you think England will go at this World Cup? The numbers to call are
0144898981. That is 0144898981.
So England's group games will be against Iran. Then they're going to play USA and they're going to play Wales. Ideally, on paper, England should be winning all those teams. But should they make it out of their group as group leaders, how far in the World Cup do you think they're going to go? So let's know if Gareth Southgate is going to be able to bring happiness to his people.
All right, people. So while we wait for the phone lines to ring 0144898981, get your calls in. Let me take this once real quick. Oh, Ibrahim Hassan has already come in on YouTube saying England will reach the round of 16 at best. And also says yesterday's World Cup opener was a snooze fest. Watching paint dry was more exciting, and it's the end of an era for Vettel. It was really great watching you burn rubber. And Tayo says England are on a fantastic journey back home. Please let them leave, and they shouldn't disturb my timeline. Yes, and this one in from Chica, who says kudos to Qatar for a wonderful opening ceremony, but my worry is that the Qatari government to spend more time chasing alcohol than preparing the players for the tournaments.
Yeah.
And Tosan says England and Southgate will get to the semis, and that's it. You guys have really
no, but the semis is good.
Yeah.
The semis is good. So if England can get to the semis of the World Cup, they are definitely going to bring happiness to the English fans.
All right, and we've got more messages actually, Tega. Can I take the messages?
Let's do one more story.
Okay. And Senegal coach Aliou Cisse told his younger players on Sunday that it was their time to shine after talisman Sadio Mane was ruled out of the world. You can point all you like. Let me finish the sentence. Was ruled out of the World Cup. And speaking about the World Cup, we take it back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name and your location?
It's easy from Ojo.
All right, Izzy, go ahead. So, Tega, what was it again?
England.
How far will England go?
Actually, I do think, but based on the performance previously from the Nations League and some of the matches they played, England have not done so well. However, getting to know the type of players they have, and when you now tend to check that previously, Pep Guardiola has managed two countries before, Spain and then in Germany. And when he managed in Spain, he has a bunch of Spanish players, and they went ahead to win the World Cup and the Europe. And he went to Germany. He has a bunch of German players. They do went ahead to win the World Cup as well. So I do think Gareth Southgate should learn from some of those. Majority of his players, most of them are from Manchester. He should learn from Pep Guardiola and the way he uses players. So if he tends to learn, and probably because I don't believe in those nations league and stuff like that, some of them they do tend to deceive.
So Eze, where will England finish? Where will England finish at the end of the day?
I think let's leave the Nations League. Is as much as friendly matches. I do think England is going to go as far as possible.
All right,
All
then,
right,
Nisi. Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Let's take the next call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and your location?
Mohammed calling from Lagos.
Mohammed, go right ahead.
And will not go anywhere.
Ah.
Okay.
Not go anywhere. Yeah, that is what me I feel. I don't want them to go anywhere. In actual,
Wait, hold on. What did they do to you?
they can go far. But in what my prayer, they will not go anywhere.
Mohammed,
Hold
thank
on.
you.
Okay. Like, I just need to know what they did to him.
Oh my
The
goodness.
phone lines are still going on zero.
But let's do
Okay.
Cisse and Senegal, because that's the first African country in action at the World Cup. So and they start with a very tough match. They didn't even allow them to come in very slowly. They've eased England in with Iran. They didn't ease Senegal in with any nice, they could have eased Senegal in with Qatar now. That would have been a nice easing in. But without
Doesn't need any more. Thank you.
without Sadio Mane, they're already going to their very first game, just while they're adjusting to the loss of their star boy. They are going to be playing against the Netherlands. Now, the Netherlands have had their struggle in the past few years, but I think in the last year and a half, they've been looking like they're going back to the old Dutch team that was able to go all the way to the final of the World Cup. So this is a very good Dutch side with fantastic players. Of course, Memphis Depay is the only big name I know that will not be playing in this opener because he picked up an injury during their warm-up match. But the Dutch team is still a strong team, and that's who Senegal is going to play against. Now, Alicia is saying that his young guys are ready to step up, and I think Senegal has built a good team. That they'll be able to play a decent match. Will they be able to get all 3 points though against the Netherlands? Very questionable. I do know that the Netherlands defense is vulnerable. Yes, I know Virgil van Dijk is in that defense, but that defense is very questionable. And so you could get 1 or 2 moments, but can you stop the Dutch from scoring against you? That will be the question Alusise has to answer at some point today. So let's go back to the phone lines.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is over.
Oh, sorry.
But real quick, let me read all of the messages that came in. So I'll take things off. I'll start things off with I'll start and end with WhatsApp. This one in from Obi from Ago, who says, by the way, that England will get to the final. Thank you. And Josh says, so because some big nations are having injury issues, England are now beginning to think what they're not supposed to be thinking. Abby? Well, England as a nation, will find joy, but not with this World Cup. Tega, the happiness England is after is not that of the semis, though. They're thinking of winning it all, but it's not this World Cup. Maybe another one, Sha. And Chimaobi Victor from Alaba says, good morning, and the World Cup is finally here. It wasn't ever a surprise that Qatar lost against Ecuador. I'm looking forward to England versus Iran's game today. God bless Nigeria. You know what? Long live everyone. Larry from the abroad says, who can forget, thanks to Sebs for the memories, who can forget the multi-21 incident with Weber in 13, driving into Lewis in Baku in 17, or switching the board numbers at the end of the race in Canada in 19 to declare himself the winner. As Tega said, he has redeemed himself over the years with his environmental campaign, but most notable for me was his support for Lewis with the Black Lives Matter
Larry,
movement.
that's a good one. Danke,
says Larry. And Tosa says, Senegal have built a good team, but I doubt they can get all the 3 points against the Netherlands, while Cruz says England will get to the final of the rounds. That's all. Straight home afterwards.
My goodness, you guys really don't like England.
All right, and Mohammed says, if Vettel hadn't left Red Bull, Hamilton would never have gone on a run of titles. Ferrari was rubbish when he went there, and after he left, you can see Leclerc is suffering. And when he left Red Bull, Red Bull didn't have a good driver for a long time until Max came along. Red Bull always picks them young. That sounds so weird.
Okay, well, Mohammed, let me correct that. Even if Sebastian Vettel has stayed at Red Bull, that engine change, that engine switch that they did, put Mercedes on a better level than Red Bull. So yes, which is why Red Bull was suffering. So Lewis would have gone on his run anyways, because that engine switch now has also put Red Bull back at the top. It was the engine switch. it wasn't the cars.
All right, people, and we are done. The locker room is over. But find Tega at Tega Supreme up on Twitter.
It wasn't the drivers.
If you can't do what you
What
want
are
to
you
choose,
saying?
It was the engine switch, not the drivers.
I hear you.
would you feel